In this video we are going to take a closer look at one of the units in 9th edition that has been steadily climbing back into Deathwatch tournament lists as of late, the Incursors. First we will take a look at their datasheet and loadouts, then we will go through how to specifically make use of them in a Deathwatch army. Lastly, there will be some modeling recommendations and a quick wrap up. This release is the final part of a mini-series on the Spectrus Kill Team, which covers all the units available to that kill team. Welcome to SwissHammer, your channel for modeling in Warhammer 40k. My name is Tammer, and I will be guiding you through this video. Looking at their datasheet, they share the stats line with their Infiltrators Phobos Brethren, which is basically the standard for Primaris troops in 9th edition. They come with a fixed loadout, the Oculus Bolt Carbine, 24 inches range, Rapid Fire 1, Strength Thor AP 0 and Damage 1. This is the profile of the classic bolt gun from the Tactical Marines, but the Oculus Bolt Carbine also has an extra ability on top, which allows their shots to ignore cover. Furthermore, they get the paired combat blades, which basically have the Astartes chainsword profile minus the additional attack, making them a stronger close combat threat compared to the Infiltrators or the standard Intercessors. This also means that the extra attack from the Sergeant is quite useful to have. As an additional war gear option, a single Incursor can be equipped with a Haywire Mine. For 10 points, once per battle, when an enemy unit finishes a charge move within engagement range of the bearer's unit, the mine can be used. On a 2+, the enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. If they have the vehicle keyword, it's even a full 3 mortal wounds. This is quite a solid option to discourage cheap charge attempts. Furthermore, they have the Concealed Positions ability as well as the Multi-Spectrum Array. The latter allows them to ignore hit roll and ballistic skill modifiers for their ranged attacks. For keywords, they are of course Core, Phobos, and they also get the Smokescreen like the Infiltrators. Overall, they end up being solid all-rounders at the very affordable 21 points per model, 1 point above the Intercessors and the cheapest models with the Concealed Positions ability at 105 points for a squad of 5. With the basics covered, how can we best use them in the Deathwatch? Due to the Deathwatch being able to take them as their own squads as well as including them in a Spectrus Kill Team, the question is of course which one is better. When running Incursors as their own Incursor squad, they are the cheapest troops choice that have the Concealed Positions ability. As a result, the standard Incursor squad has resurfaced in tournament Dreadnought heavy lists as of late. In this particular style of list, having the option to forward deploy a cheap all-rounder unit like the Incursors is quite useful. Because of their solid close combat abilities, having the extra attack on the Sergeant is another advantage. In comparison, when running them as part of the Spectrus Kill Team, we can add up to 5 Incursors to the default 5 Infiltrators. They are already troops anyway, so no benefits there. They don't get the Sergeant, but they do get access to specialisms. Unfortunately, their multi-spectrum array only works on Incursors while being part of a kill team, which is a shame. Personally, I think the main benefits in this scenario come through making good use of mixed units and combat squads. Due to being cheaper than Infiltrators, we can potentially save a few points by filling up with Incursors and spreading the 2 unit types evenly across the 2 combat squads in order to get access to 2 deep strike denial bubbles. This tactic has been used in tournament play before with Reavers. They are even cheaper than Incursors, but they break Concealed Positions while the Incursors don't. Another strategy could be to include a single additional Incursor with a Haywire Mine to offer some protection against charges for other members of the kill team. For instance, by including 4 Eliminators, 1 Incursor and 5 Infiltrators in a Spectrus Kill Team, the Incursor with Haywire Mine could be added to the Eliminators. Just like the Infiltrators, 1 Incursor will be enough to enable access to Smokescreen, or in case one combat squad is already making use of the popular Helix Adept plus 4 Eliminators combo, then the Incursor with Haywire Mine could be paired with the remaining 4 Infiltrators to be deployed through concealed positions. For more information on the primary skill teams and their viable loadouts, also check out my guide linked in the description. When comparing the 2 different ways to bring the Incursors along, I think that I would actually favor the separate Incursor squad unless I needed access to the Haywire Mine for a kill team. Especially when running Dreadnought heavy lists, Incursors are an excellent way to get some early board presence. As an alternative, Infiltrators are more expensive but offer the deep strike denial bubble, while Assault Intercessors or Intercessors are slightly cheaper than the Incursors, but they don't come with concealed positions. For stratagems, we have the always popular transhuman physiology as well as Smokescreen. This can make the Incursors annoyingly durable for their points. We can also put them into the Teleportarium, but as they already get concealed positions, it's questionable whether that's a viable option. Due to them being a Phobos unit, they also get access to guerrilla tactics, which allows them to go back to reserve and then arrive again the next turn. All in all, while I personally think that both the separate Incursor squad as well as the inclusion into a Spectrus Kill Team is viable, I would perhaps favor the Incursor squad for the cheapest way to get some troops with concealed positions. This makes a frequent appearance in Dreadnought heavy tournament lists. For a more detailed coverage of Deathwatch tournament lists and results, the links are in the description. With that being said, let's have a look at some modeling recommendations. Due to their fixed loadout, the assembly process is pretty straightforward. The box contains parts for building Infiltrators or Incursors, so in case you don't need the full 10 Incursors, this same box can also be used to build additional Infiltrators. Of special note is the Haywire Mine. While the datasheet suggests placing the Haywire Mine model next to an Incursor, and the kit does in fact have both a separate mine as well as a small base for just that, there is also a variant where the Incursor is actually holding the mine in one hand. While I personally think that this looks far better, a potential issue is what to do once the mine has been used in game. One variant could be to simply bring a spare Incursor model without the mine and then do an exchange once the mine has been used. However, what I would personally prefer is to magnetize the arm with the mine and bring a spare arm rather than a full spare model. Ultimately, it depends on how many models you have available and whether you prefer the mine on a separate base or not. To wrap things up, the Incursors are a good all-rounder unit and the cheapest troops choice with access to concealed positions at that. With the rise of the Dreadnought heavy Deathwatch lists, the Incursor squads have resurfaced in the competitive scene, but also when including them in a Spectrus Kill Team, they have something to offer. They can either be used as cheap fillers overtaking the more pricey Infiltrators, or they can give the kill team access to the Haywire Mine. Unfortunately though, their multi-spectrum array ability, which allows them to ignore hit roll and ballistic skill modifiers for their ranged attacks, only works with Incursors in a kill team, which means the other unit types cannot benefit from it. For stratagems, next to the durability boost from Transhuman or Smokescreen, what stands out further is guerrilla tactics, allowing them to be put back to reserves. Overall, I think both running them as their own squad as well as the inclusion in the Spectrus Kill Team is currently viable. So that's for the Incursors in the Deathwatch. Have you guys been using these yourself, or are you favoring other models instead? Let me know in the comments. Finally, I would also like to mention that there is a SwissHammer Facebook page where I will be posting links to my videos as well as articles I find of interest. I do read a lot about the hobby, but not all of it will always end up as its own video. I look forward to seeing you there as well. I do also have a Patreon page. If you like my content, any additional support is greatly appreciated as it helps me invest into future videos. As always, thank you very much for watching, guys. Your continued support is greatly appreciated. I hope you have been enjoying this video. Give me a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thanks again and see you next time.